And welcome into the Southeast Missouri State Coaches Show live from Wings Etc. and Cape Girardeau. Cody Sandusky in for Eric Shawn. He is en route to Starksville with the Southeast women's basketball team as they prepare for their season launch tomorrow, or this evening actually. But right now we've got head coach Tom McTukowitz with us. And coach, before we get into all the football, I know you've got a couple of kiddos with the Halloween theme going on. How did the rain interfere with all of that? Did you make it out okay?
Yeah, they seem to do okay. I saw the loot after they got done. It looked pretty solid. I'm kind of a poo-pooer on Halloween because I don't believe in it. But my wife is obviously opposite of that. But one thing that's nice about Halloween is community. And one thing here, like we went over to some couple's house, and it's a time as a community to enjoy each other too. Yep. So I was knee-deep in football, and then all of a sudden, kind of dropped in a living room with all these normal people. And
that's
so
right. It's a complete disengagement.
Yeah, it was kind of just fun to connect with other human beings.
And have a topic, I'm assuming, different than football for at least a couple of hours.
Yeah, so it was great, and good night.
There you go. So we have a great game to celebrate from over the weekend, a big win at that, over Tennessee State, 38-21, a spectacular showing. Daniel Santacaterina, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions on the day for the defense. All around a great effort. And I know we already have 2 players that have been named. Daniel Santacaterina is the OVC Newcomer of the Week, alongside Marquez Terry, who is the co-offensive player of the week. So 2 of the big figureheads on the offensive side of the ball getting some more of that conference level of attention. That's 13 media awards for the season for this team. So the Red Hawks certainly grabbing the headlines for this OVC.
Yeah, that's the thing. You're not going to have a good season without good players, and we have, I think, great players, but also we have more than just a couple.
Definitely.
And so those are exciting, and super happy for those guys. And I know those are actual team awards. To get 2 offensive players on that tells you a lot about just the offensive performance that we had. Felt like, those guys played well. They didn't get as many opportunities, kind of some self-inflicted wounds. And then their offense was on the field longer than they probably should have, so that also hurt that. But it was great to have, just a great showing from them. Again, no turnovers by the offense.
Big thing.
We only had 3 penalties. I believe they had 9. So those are the things that make you successful on Saturdays.
Exactly. When you're not having the ball driven back away from you said no turnovers, only the ball hitting the turf once or twice, and that was on interceptions, and one of them was already down.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
A good day of ball control for the Red Hawks. Admittedly, a little bit of a slower start. I know we take a look at that first quarter. It was 3-0. We were up in the PA box taking a look at it, and I know the big thing that we kind of noted was Santa was having to tote the ball. He was getting some gaps in the middle, a lot of line play and a lot of line pressure from Tennessee State, so credit to their line getting things going on the early jump. But Santa able to make something work, kind of get down the field, get an opportunity for Tiller to take a field goal, give yourself the first quarter lead. It's got to be a nice feeling to know that when things are collapsing or when things aren't going, you can still kind of gut it out and get things established.
Absolutely. He scrambled and moved the chain several times, and, obviously we love a mobile quarterback for those type of reasons, but, and not turn it over when he does it. So those were huge. And you got to credit Tennessee State. Like, they were in a bye. They were fresh, and they were rolling. I'll tell you what, their offensive line has played as hard as any O-line that we've played this year and did a great job. And, we knew it was going to be a challenge also, and we were able to make some adjustments and also just keep playing and wearing them down a little bit. And then, second quarter started going our way.
Yeah, that's the big thing. It's just you have to grind it out, and it's something that I know after about 15 minutes of football, it's very much a war of the trenches. Nothing's really happening. It's maybe that meeting of the minds that say, okay, guys, this isn't a moment where you give up. This isn't a moment where you drop out. You let things keep fighting. Something's going to give at some point.
Right.
You want to be the ones pushing forward when that give goes.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's what you saw happen. All those tackle for losses that kind of happened in that first quarter, they kind of went away, and our offensive line kept trying to sign off and do their best, and eventually it showed itself.
Yeah, it broke through in a big way. You take a look, you got bang scores in that second quarter. The first of 3 for Christian Wilkerson, and one of those where you saw it a couple of times on that day, players grasping for jerseys. A guy, 1 or 2 just grabbing them, trying to bring them down by the tail, able to keep the feet pumping and go through, and certainly showing the size that he is capable of putting to great use on that receiving corps.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's always been great catching the football, but you know, man, you talk about being dangerous if he can run after catch. At times you thought you're looking at Julio Jones.
Yeah.
That guy was rolling and breaking tackles, and it was great to see.
Yeah, you saw that on multiple ones. We talked about one that's a little bit later on. It was just a 9-yard touchdown pass, so on paper it doesn't stand out in terms of that much distance to be covered, but he's around 2 or 3 cornerbacks trying to keep him bottled in. He breaks through one and just sneaks his way through. Something I know we've been looking for Wilkerson for parts of these last couple of seasons, and it seems like things are coming together. Another 3-touchdown effort, something really starting to bloom in that receiving game for him.
Well, I think just offensively, you know, we've had continuity, and there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of newcomer parts, and they've kind of settled in, and you could just see the chemistry and how everything's working together. And we got good balance, both running and throwing, and it's pretty fun.
I'm about to say, I'm sure that's something that you appreciate, having an offense that isn't. I know the talk with McDowell coming in was this is a guy that's going to be able to light it up. You're going to get the ball moving. But the fact that you're a disciplined offensive unit, you're able to do both things simultaneously, it's got to be a good feeling because you're never going to be fully shut down, barring something catastrophic.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, the good feeling is 7 wins.
Yes. 7 wins, 7-2, 5-1 in the conference, and we actually had the polls released just a few moments ago. In the FCS coaches poll, Southeast is 19th. In the media poll, you're 21st. So you're climbing up slowly but surely. And I know some of that comes in for a coach is like, yes, that's great, but we're focused on the opponent in front of us. But I'm sure for you coming into this point, seeing that continue to climb up is a great feeling for this unit.
Yeah, we have a name for them. They're called sugar-coated lies.
That's right. That's right.
But, no, that's great, and it's great to talk about with our team and celebrate that accomplishment and just talk about, you know, Southeast Missouri State's going to have to earn what they get. They're going to have to earn the respect of the voters, everybody within the playoff selection committee, and everybody even in our own town.
Yeah.
So we have to earn the respect that we get and by the way we play, and that's been the message.
Gritting it out, gutting it out as we continue here in the SEMO Coaches Show live at Wings Center in Cape Girardeau. Cody Sandusky joined by head coach Tom Matukowicz. I know we're talking about the SEMO side of things. Credit to Tennessee State, you talked about on the line, but a lot of gutsy running back plays. Those guys just – I know Corbin, and you also had another running back, Roberson. I know he went off for over 100 as well. Those guys very much just kind of dig in, go through. And for a team that seemed to focus more on the passing game, and yes, they had 2 passing touchdowns, it seemed like we saw a lot from their rushing unit in that unit.
You know, they either saw something they thought they could run it, or they're trying to limit the possession of our offense or something, but they were definitely more committed to the run game. Kind of caught us off guard a little bit, but, you know, we played well enough to win, and you know, we got to continue to get better. And like I said, this team's just, you know, when you need a unit to step up, whatever that week looked like, they step up. You know, this week was our offense, but we also defensively, you know, 2 takeaways, we block a field goal, you know, all those things that, you know, turn it for us. Because offensively, you know, we had several possessions, you know, on their side of the field and all that, you know, turns over. I really felt like the true sequence of plays when we got control of the game was right after half. You know, they had a long run. They got it down to about the 5-yard line, but that's why we tell them all the time, like, play hard. There's 5 missed tackles. We end up getting him down, and then we turn them over. Offense comes out and scores a touchdown. Well, that's really a 14-point swing.
Yes.
And so that was huge, and then got another 7 points off of another pick by Zach Hall. So that 14 points there combined with shutting them down in the red zone and turn them over there were just really, really huge.
Yeah, pivotal. As you said, that first interception coming by way of Justin Swift, and somehow not even the highlight play for him on the day, considering what happened in terms of a sack a little later on. But the mention, the second interception for Zach, a very unique volleyball-like move. He was able to pop it up kind of like he was setting it to himself. He had to step back a couple of yards, made the catch, and off he went. And we had the joke, I know Philip Lady and myself kind of saying, is that a play that you teach? Is that a play that you coach? Or is that something you maybe look at later on saying, hey, okay, maybe this is a presence of mind to put your hands up and try to keep it up in the air as opposed to going down?
Well, it was a huge emphasis. You know, a tip ball, there's no stat for tip ball.
No.
Right? But it is a huge play, and we the previous game, I didn't feel like we did a good job, and I know Coach Shai made an emphasis, and then we worked all game and all week about getting your hands up. So he ended up tipping it, then getting it to himself, and so, that tip ball that goes incomplete, that's like a negative yardage play almost. Those
Exactly.
are huge deals, and so we got a turnover on tip ball. He kind of tipped it to himself, and he's got great ball skills. He had an unbelievable pick against UT Martin. He's a really gifted skill set wise. So, it's just another tremendous effort by him.
Yeah, you talk about this is a linebacking core that I know we looked at last year as you had Meredith graduating, you had Kendall Donnerson graduating. Not that there wasn't an expectation for great things still yet, but it was certainly going to be what names stepped up. And we saw these two, Hall and Swift, both last year, at least at certain points, taking advantage of opportunities, and those two seem to have filled right into those slots in this year and taking care of whatever void was left by those two from last year.
No, that's exactly right. And we've done a good job recruiting underneath them, and they took advantage of their opportunity. But they also got to look and learn from those guys, which is huge. What's amazing is I showed 2 plays today. Those 2 of our best players play the hardest. I mean, you'd just be thrilled at the video I showed you just how hard those 2 guys play. It shows itself in the score.
Yeah, and it's a trickle-down effect. I mean, you talk about it with Meredith and Donnerson. I know that was a lot of the appeal for them. They were 2 of the hardest-playing guys. They were very nose-of-the-grindstone work. That impacts players underneath, and that's just a cycle you want to create. You want to develop that mindset of, if the guy in front of me is doing it, I need to adopt that same thing and pass it on to the next guy behind me.
Exactly. It's interesting. People will ask, hey, Coach, what is the difference this year? What has been the difference? And that's certainly an off season where you really have time to dissect everything and really look at it. But, it kind of hit me last week. I did a talk and started thinking about it a little bit. Marquez Terry scored a touchdown that basically wasn't even touched.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you remember, he was going in the dorm and scored a touchdown. All right, now I was watching it on video. You know who the first person to congratulate Marquez Terry on that touchdown?
I'm trying to remember. I think it was a receiver.
You wouldn't know.
I wouldn't know.
No, but that's why I'm here to tell you.
Exactly. I forgive me. At the PA booth, you're just focused on the guy that makes the score, so you say the name properly.
I got to roll too.
That's right.
The backup running back.
Okay.
Mark Robinson, who wants to go score that touchdown.
Yeah.
Is the first person that met him in the end zone. And you just hit the pause button. Like we talk, one of our cornerstones is love. Really, it's about we over me, put the mission over mine, all the stuff that team building's all about. But if you believe that, like the most important thing is the mission and each other, then we should see it show itself in some kind of action, right? Well, for the backup running back that wants to play, he wanted that touchdown, of course, right? He is the first one. He wasn't even on the field. He was the first one to meet him in the end zone to congratulate his teammate. I mean, that tells you that they care. And it goes back to why are we winning is because we care, because really game day is all about execution. And everybody's world's different. Their business may be a little different, but at the end of the day, it's all about execution. You got 11 parts moving in a way, and it's got to execute. Right. Well, what drives execution? The culture. Because if I care enough about my teammates, I don't want to let him down. Like, I can't let him down. I have to do this job or whatever that job is, and that's what drives the execution. So now you might be able to get 85, 90% execution within the whole football game because people care. Like, they care about their teammates. They care what the video looks like. They care about lifting. They care. And that's the greatest success strategy known to mankind, right? Like, they care. Most importantly, they care about each other, and so I think that's what's causing the execution to go way up this year that we haven't had since I've been here.
Yeah, engagement on a core level, I know, especially with youth. I'm not too far out of the college age ranks at only 27. It's something that I know my generation battles with more often maybe than some think theirs did, is trying to make sure people care.
And we've had backup running backs here transfer.
Yeah. Because
they don't get in the ball enough. But this year our backup running back is going to bear hug our starter. That's like, what's the mic? You just drop it.
You have more confidence.
Like, give me some wings. Like, the show's over. That's it.
Well, you heard the man. He's already preached the gospel truth.
Yes,
he's already said it there.
Dropping the mic.
That's right. Oh, goodness. Tom Matukowicz here with us on the SEMO Coaches Show live at Wings Etc. and Cape Girardeau. I want to remind you that lunch special is going on right now starting at $6.99. Also 69-cent wings, both boneless and traditional today. So if you want to get your grub on, come in or call in for pickup. They can also set you up that way. I appreciate that mic drop. Like I said, you've got more confidence. I've already had to replace this phone screen once.
Oh, really?
I don't know. Even with a flat surface, I'd probably mess it up and do it again. And you mentioned with these guys, it's not just the players there that are underneath caring for the guys above them. It's the guys above them passing back the other way. I know it's mentioned in every conversation you have about a guy like Marquez Terry, a guy that's very caring about those around him, wants to make sure everybody else is squared away and ready to go. And that makes an impact on both ways. It's not only guys underneath getting ready and seeing their path forward. It's the guy going back and saying, I see you and I want you to be a part of this all the same.
Absolutely. And you know, it's impossible. We have 105.
Yeah.
And I got, let's say I got 15 staff and administration. You can't get everybody on the same page. You just got to get more than not. And when your best players are also living the culture out, I mean, it's special because it's not just Quez. And he'd be the first to tell you, it's all of our good players are really bought into the mission and trying to have a historic season, not for themselves, but for each other, so they can share this memory.
Yeah, and it's a historic season that rolls on 5-1 in the conference, 7-2 overall. Tied, quote unquote, with Jacksonville State there at the top in terms of winning percentage. But if you win out, you go into a playoff role. I know we're maybe speaking a little ahead. We've got a game this week that we'll get to in a little bit, but to be maybe so close to that doorstep, I know it's maybe tap dancing on that sugar-coated lies moment where you're kind of seeing that light at the end of the tunnel. Is that something you have to maybe focus in the team on a bit and kind of combat that feeling of the accomplishment hasn't been hit yet? We're still a little bit away.
Well, just, I'm going to meet with them at 1:30, and I'm going to just tell them the truth. You're one game away from getting to play for a title. And so what are you going to do this week to go prepare to play well? I mean, it's – and certainly at this – point in the season, there's not a lot of words left. There's just a lot of work left. What is going to be said that we don't already know? What are we going to really dedicate to the work it takes to play well? Because it's hard to play well week in and week out. You see teams get beat all the time. Murray State got beat.
Yes.
Okay, and on paper they should have beat Tennessee Tech. And so, I think one of the most keys to having a consistent life is respect. Respect for the process, respect for your opponent, or respect for whatever job you're doing. You have to respect what it takes to be great at it, and that takes work.
Yeah, it does. You mentioned anybody going at any moment. Murray State falling to Tennessee Tech. It was a back-and-forth battle from what we understood. And it doesn't diminish from the fact that Murray State, especially at this point, I'm sure going into this week, they're at home. They want to play spoilers. So if anything, for them, it's even extra incentive on top of a fire that was already burning. So you have to know the other side is ready to go just as much as you are.
Well, it's a life lesson, right? Anytime you have adversity, you got two choices. You're going to respond two ways. So you can respond poorly, and it's going to be it's like watching a nightmare. All right, or you can respond positively and get and play even better. So, the choice is theirs to make. We can't make it for them. All we can control is our preparation and our commitment to being ready to roll. One of the biggest concerns I have is 11 a.m. kickoff.
Yeah, I was about to say a little bit earlier than you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be the only one fired up at 5 in the morning because I normally get up early. All my kids would be like, "Oh my God, it's So that's the thing we have to do a good job of is, hey, you have to be ready to roll. When we wake you up at 6 in the morning on Saturday, your fire needs to already be running. If you're waiting on, then we could have a bad day. You have to get your body prepared. You got to be like an old man. You got to go to bed early and get up early.
And it's something to battle with, especially since this weekend you had the daylight savings time. You fell back, so these guys are going to be accustomed maybe an extra hour of sleep for a day or two, or at least feeling like it. And that feeling's going to be gone by Saturday morning.
Right. Yeah, they moved the game time to 11 because I think they got a basketball game or whatever. So we had to scramble to get a hotel over there because normally we would drive that day of, and so there's been lots of preparation to just even get ready for the game.
Yeah, I'm sure that's the last thing you want to do is put a bunch of kids on the bus at 4 or 5 in the morning and say, hey, we're going to take a road trip. Be ready when we get there.
Right. Need shock collars as they get off the bus.
anything you can do to stoke that fire, hey, I
Well,
understand.
I'm gonna stoke it. I mean, and if they ain't ready to go, maybe their fire's wet. Like, how could you not be ready to roll on Saturday?
Yeah.
An opportunity to play Murray. First of all, it's Murray.
Yeah, exactly. There's always enough
Right?
incentive there alone.
They're a good football team. They've beat a lot of good football teams, and they're standing in the way of our mission. They want to take something from us. Get ready.
Yeah. And it's a team that will be ready to go as we talk about Murray State coming up. It's not too much to focus on in terms of specific names, but I do point out they have a quarterback. In terms of his numbers, he's passing pretty well for himself.
No, I think that is the key. It's kind of like our quarterback.
Yeah.
I think, like, if you look at Murray, what's been the difference in their season? I think the quarterback play. The quarterback play started playing well. They won a game, and then what happened? That belief that I was talking about at the beginning of the year. Now, all of a sudden, they believe a little bit more, and they took off, and, really they've had one bad game, here lately, but they gave Jacksonville State all they wanted and then had a mishap on the road.
Yeah, that's the big thing. Drew Anderson's the guy we're talking about, the senior quarterback for Murray. Passing at a good clip, 61.5% completion percentage, over 2,000 yards. The spread in terms of touchdowns and interceptions is only 14-9, so it's not great there. But he's a guy who's going to move it between the 20s, and he's a guy you're going to have to key in on.
Exactly. We have to do a great job. And he's also, believe it or not, he's a scrambler. He's a big dude, but he does extend plays. He makes plays with his legs. And so, that's pretty dangerous. You can't just drop everybody and because he'll take off running. So it's, defense is going to have our work cut out for us.
Yeah, it's one of those where you've got 4 in the box, and you already have to try to flip those out to the outside and make sure he doesn't get around the tackle on you.
Exactly.
It's a different mode. I know we saw a little bit of it with Tennessee State, but not until it's there in front of you, maybe those first couple of plays where it really kind of clicks in and said, okay, we've got to stay at home on this kid sometimes or else he's going to get it.
Yep, exactly.
So that's a Murray State game, as Coach said, 11 o'clock on Saturday morning. Of course, we'll be on the call. 10:45, the pregame on SEMO ESPN 1220, Real Rock 99.3, and SEMOESPN.com. Sitting at the time, it's about time for lunch. You're sitting at about 12:25 here in Cape Girardeau. I know also failed to mention a little later on, we'll be talking with DJ Freeman and the cornerbacks coach Ray Smith, get his thoughts. I know Freeman, a first-year Red Hawk. So before maybe I give him the chance, I'll give you the chance. As a young man, first year in the program, looking pretty solid for himself, 2 interceptions on the year, and another guy that looks to have just played right into that defensive scheme.
Well, I think it's that same thing. We graduated 2 corners that got in an NFL camp, and, same with our outside linebackers. And, DJ's a kid that's come in from a junior college from Oklahoma and has done a great job, filled that void, and has really started playing well, making several plays out there. And, just a really neat kid, and I can't wait for you all to get to know him better. And, that's the thing I really want to try to get off here. No one wants to hear me talk. You need to get Coach Smith up here and DJ up here. But before I get off, I would like to just mention about our banquet.
Yes, sir.
This was something that was brought up to me from the parent group that, they wanted a banquet. We don't have the money for a banquet, and it's hard when you don't have administration, like extra administration, everybody that works for me, coaches. And so it's just hard to put something on that, but we are going to put one on, and it's Saturday after our last home game. It's a night game, or it's a day game, but it'll be at night, 6:30 p.m., Saturday, November 17th. But the reason I really want to bring it up, it's open to the public, but if you guys feel like you can help put this on. It's going to cost about $4,500 out of the budget to do. You could sponsor a table for $200 or a football player for $20. And so even if you don't come, you're welcome to come. But if you don't and you feel led to maybe help us put this on, I know our players, certainly our seniors, really wanted this, and so we're going to make this happen. And we're going to find a way to pay for it. And if you guys can help us on that, I really appreciate it.
It's the 2018 Brick by Brick Football Season Banquet. If you want to find that website to register or to help out, as Coach said, $200 to sponsor a table, $20 to sponsor an individual athlete. You need to go to GoSoutheast.com/football banquet. GoSoutheast.com/football banquet. I've got the website pulled up in front of me. Easy form to fill out and all the details you would need to do that. And certainly, Coach, a great cause to honor a great team, no matter what these next 2 weeks hold for them and beyond.
Absolutely. I'll tell you a quick story about my cornerback coach, Coach Smith, before he gets up here.
Okay.
But he's a Chicago guy, and he played for Northern Illinois. And so that's he and I's connection, because I used to coach in Northern Illinois, and you know, he was a part of the original class that really turned that program around. Took them to their first MAC championship game, and we played against him, and I'm telling you, this dude could stroke you back when you could still hit people in football.
I'm about to say, there wasn't any worry about it.
But he's a great competitor. Him and his family. He's got 3 children, and they live in Jackson. And you know, just super happy that they decided to join our Red Hawk family. And he's doing an amazing job. And it's great to have the Smith family part of our program.
Well, there we go. And we will talk to Coach Ray Smith, the quarterbacks coach, as well as DJ Freeman, defensive back for the Red Hawks. On the other side of the commercial break, it is the SEMO Coaches Show live at Wings Etc. in Cape Girardeau on SEMO ESPN. Welcome back into the Southeast Coaches Show live at Wings Etc. in Cape Girardeau. SEMO ESPN 1220, SEMOESPN.com, the SEMO ESPN radio app. Just a reminder, 1231. If you want to get your lunch, the house is plenty packed, but there's still some seats left, as well as you can call in. Wings Etc. lunch special starting at $6.99. And as Coach said, we pivoted from one coach, we go to another coach, and it is Coach Ray Smith, the cornerbacks coach at Southeast. Your second year here, Coach. First of all, welcome to the Coaches Show.
Thanks for having me here.
Always excited to have some of the coaches. As Tuke said, we hear from him a lot, so it's nice to diversify a little bit. Maybe he won't hear me saying that out loud. We're talking to some of the different coaches. He seemed excited to maybe pass the microphone for one. Maybe he's kind of hit his 30-minute limit and he's good for a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. He want to, get us acclimated to being in front of the media as well. That's a pretty awesome deal. I'm excited to be here at Wings Saturday.
Is it something that he allows to happen in the coach's room? Is it more he's kind of talking, or is it a little more the pass the mic situation?
He let us talk to the
There
media.
you go. So I figure as coach, sometimes he wants to go, and then sometimes we'll defer. I understand. So you've got a great unit here so far this season. We said the defense is doing incredibly well in this 2018 campaign. First of all, we'll kind of go back a little bit. Second year in the system, I know Toop said you guys have had a relationship from the past. How's that path coming over to SEMO? How's it been the last couple of years transitioning in?
Oh, it's been great. Everything I imagine. He's a awesome guy to work for and play with as players. You know, I met him 2 years when I got done playing, and our relationship took off the last 10 years, and it's been great.
I'm about to say, so coming in as a coach under him, certainly not too much of a transition. You've kind of heard that voice. You've been in that locker room before, so not a shell shock to the system to come into a new unit, is it?
No, it's not. And then, you know, when him and Coach Sire brought me down to interview, it's basically, hey, we got a system. You got to learn it. We need you to get the guys right as far as technique and fundamentals. And, you know, that's what I've been doing for the last couple of years. And we have playing our best ball right now.
Yeah. And you talk about that, I know a couple of local athletes, I know Al Young's name gets brought up sometimes. I know traditionally he was a defensive back in high school because you play both ways, but more of a receiver type. How is that as a coach to kind of have to mold some of those minds of, hey, you're going the other way now. You're not focused up on getting the ball for every player, at least being targeted that way. How's that mindset work? What's the big thing you have to focus in for them to shift?
Well, just understand, like, hey, you can score a touchdown too on defense.
Yes,
you know, and
the
balls in there is yours. You know, once you get it, I don't like the guys that go out of bounds. Hey, let's go score. Let's put points on the board. Let's get the stadium, you know, excited. Get everybody out their seats. You know, get your name in the paper type deal.
Right.
So, you know, you get guys that play both ways in high school. You know, like DJ over here, he played both ways in high school.
Okay.
He's mainly an offensive guy, but you know, when he gets the ball in his hands, he's looking to score as well. So. I kind of look for that in their background.
Exactly. That's not something you have to coach into. Get to the end zone. The ball's in your hands. You know which direction to go. You know which way you're carrying it.
Exactly.
So.
You know, just protect it. Don't get stripped from behind and go score, and then let's dance on the sideline.
That's right. That's right. Celebrate. Now, I know no DBs for interceptions this week. We got 2 linebackers getting into the game. Is there any kind of, as much as there can be a rivalry between the 2 units, is there kind of maybe something you're looking to if a linebacker gets a pick and a cornerback doesn't? Is there maybe a little bit of love being shared back and forth?
Oh, no. There's no animosity. Hey, whoever gets it.
That's right.
And then, hey, block, let's go score. You know, that's our mindset. If somebody scoops up a fumble, somebody get an interception. You know, 2 weeks ago when Darius Knight blocked scooped up the field goal, you see all these guys leading the way for him. So it's one of those deals. We're a family. We don't look at it like that. Like, hey, whoever got the ball, let's go get our brother to the end zone.
Yeah, and I know Coach talked about it a lot. There's a culture, certainly a mindset for this team this year. And even you can see it just being a passive observer like I am. I'm in the PA box every week, so I only get to see some of the stuff. But you see it on the sideline. It's a cohesive unit. And I'm sure on the defensive side for you guys, that's all the same guys that want to bring each other up, kind of have that everybody come together because this is a full-fledged effort for everyone to get to the end goal.
Oh, most definitely. You can see it on offense, defense, special teams. It's times we on the field, maybe sudden change or a timeout, better take the field. It's the offense guy. I'm like, hey, where you come from? Or you see defensive guys in the huddles, and then obviously special teams, you got offensive, defensive guys in there. But everybody's clicking, everybody's yelling. You know, like he said, you know, Mark Robbins, the backup running back, he congratulated Marquez Terry on his touchdown run. He's the first guy.
Yeah.
You know, some on defense could go like that. You see offense got to be the first guy, or somebody score on offense as a defensive guy. It's no animosity. Everybody want to succeed and win, and that's the mission, that's the goal, and that's why we're having a successful season we are now.
I'm sure that's a great feeling as a coach because, you know, as I was talking with Coach, I'm 27, I'm a little younger, I guess. It's a little bit harder to breed that for some of these guys, but it seems like for this unit this year, it's been coming together much more easily. I'm sure as a coach, it's a great feeling to see that of, I don't have to dictate to these guys, be supportive, be together, be a part of it. They're everybody engaged into it.
Yeah, oh yeah. When you got to do that 24/7, it's not much of a team. You know, every time we go on the sidelines, you know, I tell the guys to focus on me so we can make adjustments. They trying to look, see if the offense is scoring or what they doing and things like that. So, you know, part of the hardest part, hey, focus on the sideline adjustments and stuff like that. You know, worry about the offense going to score.
Everybody wants to see everything all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
I said, well, we got to work on. We got to have something on the sideline where you can follow multiple camera angles at one time. You can see the offense while you're looking into a coach.
And for me, from our perspective, I never see none of the games, so I got to go watch like.
I'll say film review for you is just seeing what happened.
Yeah, like what happened, how we score. You know, like I caught myself a couple of times this past game. They scoring 3 plays, 1 play. I'm like, well, what we got to get fixed, we'll fix it later. You know what I mean? We'd take care of that halftime because they were scoring so fast. And you know, we went in and made some adjustments at halftime to kind of help with the passing game and the defensively, and it just went from there because the offense was scoring so fast, which is a good thing.
Exactly.
I don't complain.
That's right.
It's just like don't have time to talk to the guys.
That's right. You got to try to corral a bunch of 18 to 23-year-olds. Like, hey, focus in. Oh, well, never mind. We've already hit our point. Just go back out there. Do what you've done. It worked well. We'll go do it again.
Exactly.
So as you said, you kind of scoring quick. So for coaches like that going in the locker room, I know this week specifically, was there anything going on in that first half that you really wanted to key in on? I know there was a little bit of success on the dip and dunk passing game. They weren't really striking downfield very much. There was a lot of running, a lot of short route passing. As a coach like that, it's a bend, don't break mentality. Is that what you're carrying in the locker room, or what are you looking for at that point?
Well, you know, they did some different things from coming out of bye week that we had, you know, broken down, analyzed, and everything like that. And, you know, we went in and made some adjustments at halftime as far as in the passing game and the run game. And then, you know, they had the big run to start the third quarter.
Right.
And then after that, you know, we kind of kept it 10 yards or less from there. And then, you know, the passing game, which, you know, they scored a couple of times, but we made them earn it. We didn't 60-yard bombs, 70-yard bombs. Hey, you know, their biggest completion, I believe, is around 30 yards.
Yeah.
And, you know, with those athletes they had a receiver on that team, we did a really good job keeping their front, getting them down when they did catch it. They're going to catch them passes on us. But, you know, at the end of the day, they on scholarship as well. It's our job to get them down and don't let them catch too many of them, especially crossing the white line.
Yeah, and you talk about it. I mean, they've got some talented guys. Treon Harris is a name that's mentioned a lot in the OVC. He's a guy getting some love. Newbold is also a guy we've seen a number of times pop up on some of the media reports. So you're not like you're playing against any slouches at Tennessee State. They come ready to go, and they had it, but you guys were able to keep them contained, and that's got to be a great feeling to go into Murray State, another pass-oriented offense for this weekend.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, these last 2 weeks playing the athletes we face, their receivers, like, you don't get too much better than that. Like,
no.
Tennessee State on receiver core, I would say is pretty good as Arkansas State.
Yes.
They was really dynamic, and Steve Newbold, he might be in NFL camp in 2 years. That's how good and electric he is. He's a really, really good player, and, you know, these last 2 weeks have been kind of pass-happy offense, and now we face Murray this week, who's a pass-happy offense. That's kind of, you know, got us prepared, ready to go this week.
Yeah. And how's that feel as a coach? I know for some of these guys we talked to, Ray Smith, the cornerbacks coach, for the Red Hawks, telling some guys, you know, when you're on the recruiting trail, I know some people are saying, hey, you know, offenses are modernizing. We're doing a lot more pass-heavy stuff. Are we going to see that in the OVC? You've got a few weeks of tape to tell these guys, if you want to face some of the best in FCS, we've got your opportunity right here if you want to show up and have the name recognition.
Yeah, and this is a great conference. People don't fail to realize that it's very competitive. It's some guys that go on to the next levels, All-Americans.
Yes.
That plays at this level, and you know, look at Jimmy G. He came from EIU, mm-hmm. So Sean Payton and all those other guys. This is a really, really good conference, yep. And people don't realize that. Like last year, Rock Thomas, he was at Jacksonville State. He's on the active roster right now with the Minnesota Vikings.
Yes, he is.
You're going to face NFL talent in this conference, you know, week in and week out. It just, you know, just depends what year it's very heavy NFL talent, or it might be a little less, but it's guys all around this league.
Yeah,
with NFL talent.
No easy weeks off for the Red Hawks. I know we've kind of talked about that. You mentioned Jacksonville State. You've got Murray, even Eastern Illinois at the end of the season. You've got some teams to do that with. But we'll take a look a little bit more. I know Coach said you had a few years of success at Northern Illinois. You've played around these kind of teams. I know Northern Illinois used to have a little bit of crossover playing the OVC, but being in the MAC, I know you've got a lot of wide open kind of stuff. Of course, Maction wasn't pinned for any other reason. That's the reason that conference was named that. It's pass all the time and see what happens. So to see that go from that and maybe kind of bleeding in through the rest of college football, how's that been as a coach to kind of see that transition over the last few years?
Well, you know, back in my heyday, like Coach said, you was allowed to hit people and there's a lot of running. Now it's more like, I call it basketball on grass.
Okay.
It's a lot of spread open offense, like kind of like Golden State, shoot a lot of threes, right? Yeah. Houston Rockets, it spreads, you shoot it.
Exactly. Anything you can open up.
Yeah, and, you know, now in the college game, they go spread to run it or they go spread to throw it. So, you know, you just got to figure out what offensive coordinator like to do in that team, that kind of structure. But there's only about 5 or 6 handful of teams that still just want to run the ball. That's like Army, Navy, Georgia Tech.
All option teams, that's right. And as a coach, like you said, for players coming in, it's that weird transition time where it's going to start trickling down. You know, what happens inevitably, what happens in the NFL, happens in college, happens in high school, where you're going to have some of these players, I guess, kind of relearning how to tackle. Has that been a struggle or a battle you guys have been dealing with as this transition has happened to maybe taking some of those harder, more head-down hits out of the game?
Yeah, we focus on hitting the right way around here. We do what we call tackle takeaway every day to start practice. As soon as we get done with special team, that's the first thing we do is tackle takeaway.
Okay.
You know, to make sure those guys are in the right fit, tracking the right hip, putting their head in the right place, and go from there. You know, it's a little different from when I played, but no, we do all the proper ways to make sure guys are putting their head in the right spot and tackling correctly. You know, if I see a guy doing it wrong, I'm like, hey, if you want to sip out a trophy for the rest of your life, you got to get your head up and got to hit like this. Got to remind them because, you know, some guys do have bad habits from high school or wherever they're from. Yeah, you know, but at the end of the day, you know, you got to be confident. It's like kind of being in the fight. See what you hit. You can't have your head down in the fight, otherwise you'll get knocked out. Nope. Same thing with football. So I kind of relate those two things together, boxing and football, even MMA.
Eyes up was always the big thing. Anything we did is like your face mask is forward, your eyes are up. That's the only thing you're doing. I mean, if you got anybody who asks us questions, I mean, you can show them some tape of what the Red Hawks have done this season. Justin Swift blindsided somebody this week. That's a hard hit.
Yeah.
That's a good-looking hit. You can do it in a clean way.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, we repped that a couple of weeks ago. You know, we had a problem hitting the quarterbacks a little high, so we like, hey, here's a pop-up, here's the target zone. You can run them out 1,000,000 miles an hour and still hit the quarterback hard, you know, kind of old school way.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it don't get a flag. And, you know, we practiced that a couple weeks ago, and he went out and executed, had opportunity to come up for himself, and he hit the quarterback correctly, no flag. And, you know, it was a big play, kind of got the momentum going as well on that drive.
It's got to be a good feeling when the lessons you're imparting and what you're kind of coaching down in players is coming through fruitfully in the game day.
Oh, yeah, it's awesome that, you know, they taking what you taught them in the classroom as far as X and O's and on the football field as far as practice, like, hey, individual that carries over to 7-on-7 inside run team or even in a game, you know, that stuff carry over. That means the kids care, they focus, they paying attention. Now, it's hard to keep 18, 21-year-olds focused 24/7, but like when they see it and get it and they do it, you're like, okay, maybe he was listening. He wasn't thinking about, you know, chemistry class or philosophy class or something like
Madden
that.
Tournament, something.
Exactly. You know, one will eat when I leave out of practice.
Oh goodness, that's always a problem for me. But then again, you know, there's a reason I've built this physique the way it is. Coach Ray Smith joining us here on the Coaches Show at Wings Etc. in Cape Girardeau. 12:44 the time in Cape Girardeau. Coach, before we let you go, I know we mentioned great success for this team so far this year. These last 2 weeks, what is the big lesson you're imparting on the cornerbacks? Or what's the big thing you're wanting to take away from as we get ready for Murray State and then Eastern Illinois 2 weeks from now?
It's going to be a pass-happy fest. It's going to be literally 7-on-7, and, you know, it's going to be plays made on the back end, and we got to make those plays when the ball's in the air. So, you know, these next 2 weeks, it's a big week for my position group. It was the last 2 weeks as well, just the core receivers, and I think we handled it pretty well. Can we get better? Yeah. You know, are we going to get better? Yeah. Yes. So it's one of those deals that we're going to strive for perfection, and, you know, everybody's not perfect, but we all go the same direction to fix our game and take out those little nicks that we want to take off film. Would be okay.
There you go. And I asked Coach, I figured I should ask you the same. I know it was kind of wet last week. I know you have a few kids. How was the Halloween side of things for you?
I lucked out this year.
Yeah.
The storm made Jackson go a day early. We didn't know.
So it got passed around my town a little late too.
So I missed the Jackson then. We don't live in Cape, but that day they had in Cape, it was rainy and wet and cold.
Yeah.
So my kids they did something at their school.
Yeah. Hey, that works.
So I was like, oh, it's all good.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about walking out in the rain. I don't have to worry about getting cold. I'm with you. Is there something that maybe we kind of keep it a little quieter for the kids? Is there a certain treat that you may sneak one or two out of the bag if it's there? Is there a sweet tooth favorite?
Snickers all day.
Snickers? Okay.
They don't have a chance. I'll go pick it out their bag.
That's right. It's like, hey, there's one. Hey, there's one. Yeah, that's right. It means I was nice to you. I left it.
Exactly. It's a trap.
That's my mom with Butterfingers. She was the same way. If anybody was passing those out, it may as well hand it right to her, and you were good. Everything else was yours. Coach Ray Smith, appreciate your time on the Coaches Show, sir.
Yeah, thanks, sir.
It was nice to have you, sir. And then we're going to take a quick timeout, come back, and we will talk to DJ Freeman, defensive back for these Red Hawks, and get you ready for the matchup against Murray State this Saturday at 11 a.m. It is the Southeast Football Coaches Show live at Wings Etc. in Cape Girardeau. Back in a couple of moments on SEMO ESPN. Welcome back, Wings, etc. and Kate Girardo for the Southeast Football Coaches Show on SEMO ESPN 1220, SEMOESPN.com, and the SEMO ESPN radio app. Cody Sandusky filling in for Eric Shaw. And again, safe travels to he and the Southeast women's basketball team as they get ready to start their season. But joining us now, thanks to Ray Smith for joining us a few moments ago, we've got DJ Freeman, one of the players from his position group, defensive back for this team. How's it feel so far in this 2018 campaign? How's it been?
It's been great. You know, we just had we have a winning season right now. We're going out there. We're playing our butts off. We're working hard. You know, we're changing the program around just to go out there and compete.
Yeah, and I know it's your first year coming into Southeast. Your team last year had a bit of success at Northwest Oklahoma A&M, so it's been a good feeling to go from one and see that success carry over to the other as well.
Yeah, it feels good. You know, coming out of high school, really didn't have too many going and winning championships, going into the playoffs, and then go to Northeastern Oklahoma. We come off of winning our championship, our conference championship, and then coming here, and we're on the verge of winning our championship right now in the OVC.
And that's always a great feeling to be able to carry those over. I know it's been a bit of a path. You went to Wyoming. You said went to Northwestern Oklahoma, which is closer to where you're from in Del City.
Yes.
So how's it Bath been the last few years? I know it's been maybe some big changes for you. How's it feel?
It's been a lot of changes, you know, going all the way up to the University of Wyoming where it's just cold and mountains.
Barren.
Then coming back home to Miami, Oklahoma, and then coming here to Missouri, which is 7 hours away from home.
Yeah. I'll say, has it been too much of a transition? I know you're at least kind of in the Midwest or the Mid-East, I suppose. So.
It's not that too much of a difference, you know, just the same kind of culture, just really not that big of a difference to me.
Yeah. So how was it coming in? I know, as you said, there were a couple of offers. You had Arkansas State and a few other places that were looking at you. Was it Coach Smith or was it Coach Tuke? Kind of who was talking to you throughout the process, and what was the big pull?
It was Coach Smith who came and recruited me at Northeastern Oklahoma. He came to a practice one day and then talked to him after practice. We talked about football. He said how he liked my size and length and speed and everything. And from there, he hooked me up with Coach Tuke and Coach Side, and we just talked along from there.
There you go. So not too painful of a process, it seemed, to get in.
Not too long.
That's always nice. So coming into the Southeast, we said a successful year for you guys. It's been great for the defensive back unit, and also, as we talked with Coach Smith, a lot of pass-happy teams. So I'm sure in your position group, it's a great feeling. It's like, hey, we're involved in a lot of these plays. We're engaged almost every single snap. That's got to be fun for those Saturdays.
Oh, yeah, we're excited about this one, you know, just to go out there. It's basically going to be like 7-on-7 at practice. Ball going to be up in the air. It's going to be two athletes, one ball, and it's just going to come down to who's tougher and then go up and get the ball out the air.
Yeah, is that something I know for especially defensive backs, that's kind of a mindset you have to adopt of it's me versus one other man. Very rarely is it multiple people going up against you. Is that what kind of drew you to the position, very much just one-on-one, it's me versus man versus ball?
Yeah, so you know, in high school I was pretty much a receiver, and I played both ways, receiver and DB. I liked receiver more, but some just drew me more to the defensive back side of it, you know, just going out there and compete and stop other people from catching the ball and, you know, just going up and get it. So that's what really drew me to the position.
The joke we always made in high school was I'd rather be the guy giving the hit than taking the hit more often.
Yeah,
that
that
something
also.
kind of plays through that the same?
Yeah, it was pretty much that also, you know.
Very cool. So talking with DJ Freeman here at the Southeast Coaches Show, taking a look at this unit, I know you've got a good mix of upperclassmen, underclassmen. You've got a good balance for these guys. How has it been kind of getting together as a unit, getting all these players familiar with each other and kind of being built into the SEMO program?
Oh, it's been great. You know, it's just, you know, my first year here, just coming in and building a relationship with these guys, seeing who they really are. We know we go out, we hang out, go to each other's cribs, have 2K tournaments. We'll play online Fortnite. The new Call of Duty just came out, so it's just been great getting to know these guys and building a relationship with them.
As you talked about 2K tournaments, that was my question. We were talking off the air was, what was the preferred team? What was the method for 2K? So if you're going to rank them, which one are you going to take first? Are you going Call of Duty or you're going 2K?
Right, we're going 2K all
2K,
day.
of course.
Yeah, 2K, of course. You know, go to the mob park, get each other's mob players out and go out there, compete against each other, you know, or just run with each other and beat other people. So we just have fun with that.
Is that the big team building or at least unit building? Is that what you guys like to do when you're not on the field? Is that mode of competition that you like?
Yeah, so sometimes, like, right after practice, they're like, hey, yo, go get in the shower and hop right on the game type, you know. or after homework, y'all want to hop on the game. Just one thing that we do just to build off the field, just as how much time we spend together when we're together in team meetings, practice, workouts, or even in study hall. Sometimes we're sitting in a group together doing work and just having conversations, and building relationships.
Yeah, I appreciate you dropped that homework note on us to make sure Coach Tuke and Coach Smith listen. Homework is the priority over the 2K and the Call of Duty.
Oh yeah, first you got to have the grades first.
That's right.
The grades is the only way you're gonna be able to stay on the field.
I know you're pursuing a communications degree at Southeast. Is that something you kind of focused on a lot coming in, or is it something you maybe just fell into? What was it?
At first I was in business administration, and I switched over to corporate communications just to, it's just something I feel like I had a better understanding of, and then I've just been liking it as long as the way.
Yeah, I understand communications major. I know Coach Smith's a comm major as well. We got to stick together. We got to learn how to speak to the people, make sure we know how to communicate with everybody. We're the ones that help run the businesses when everything comes around. So I always said I'd rather be behind the microphone. It's where I feel more comfortable with. So for you, what has been the highlight for you so far this season? Is there anything that really stands out? It's like, okay, this is the banner moment for me in 2018.
My highlight moment? Man, Jacksonville State, really. I was just, I was always told that was going to be our biggest game of the year. We went out there, we competed. We went up against a couple receivers. We made plays. Actually had an interception that game, and it just all felt so good. The crowd was very intense, and into the game, it just gave us the extra momentum. We just felt great out there. It felt like one of the biggest games I ever played, and it felt good.
Oh yeah, that's definitely. It's been talked about for a number of years here. Jacksonville State's the big dog on the block. You got to knock off. And so far, so good. As we said, two games in the regular season as it winds down. We got Murray State in Murray. Are you a little miffed about the 11 o'clock start time? Is that going to be a little bit different for you?
It is going to be a little different. It's our first 11 o'clock game. Never really been up there early to play a football game, but hey, we're going to get up and just get the job done, go out there and compete.
That's right. Any big thing you're focused on Murray State, or anything that the coaches have been saying that you've got keyed in on for it?
Well, the coach has been telling they're a pass-happy team. The ball's going to be in the air, so we're just going to go out there, compete, ball go up, and we're going to come down with it.
Good deal. That's the way to look at it. You've got 2 games to go. I know as a player, you maybe get focused toward the end of the season. Is that kind of something you're having to fight in right now? Is like, we've got the game in front of me. Let's not look toward the conference championship just yet.
Yeah, we can't focus too much on the championship because we have to focus what's in front of us. We have to keep working and don't forget about the little things that we've done in the past to help us get us here.
There you go. So I got to ask before we go, I know you said you talk about my players. Is there a team you follow in 2K, or has there been a favorite in years past you like to stick with?
Well, there's no specific team that actually run in 2K, but everybody know the Golden State Warriors is kind of a no-no right now going against somebody. You might not get to play against somebody using them, but I'll just pick anybody and just match up, and we just have good matchups. There's no this team and that team that we're just going to run with.
There you go. All right, DJ Freeman, defensive back for these Red Hawks. Before you go, any social media you want to plug? I know for us younger folks, maybe follow any Twitter, Instagram.
Oh yeah, you can follow me on Twitter @DJF5.
All right, there you go. You heard the man, DJF5 _ DJF5. DJ Freeman, defensive back for the Red Hawks. Sir, thank you for your time. Appreciate it. Thanks for coming on the Coach's Show.
Thank you.
As DJ Freeman, appreciate him coming in. And we'll wrap up to get you ready. Just a couple minutes left. See if we can maybe pull Coach Tuke over for one final word, although he seems pretty excited to maybe stay out there. So maybe we will let him kind of wind down as he goes, maybe get some free moments before he gets back to the tape. I'll ask you before you do go. What's your favorite part of the game or weekday prep? Are you doing a lifting thing? Are you a tape guy? Like, what's your favorite thing to do of all that?
Before the game?
Yeah, all right, just in general, game week prep.
Just to sit down and relax, listen to music, and just get my mind off things just for a little bit, just before going out there. Just relax, take a deep breath, just to make sure I'm calm before going out there.
There you go. That's the way to do it. DJ Freeman, appreciate your time, sir. We'll let you go this time for real. All right, that's DJ Freeman. Appreciate him. I want to say thank you to Coach Smith as well as to Coach Tuke. Kind of give that one final plug. 19th in the coaches poll, 21st in the media poll. I got my quota. I know Eric told me beforehand, you got to make sure that sugar-coated lies, that big buzzword, to get in, and make sure you remember that. But moving up in the coaches poll, getting ready to go. I also got to plug one more time the Brick by Burrick Banquet, Saturday, November 17th at 6:30, $20 per person if you want to attend. You can sponsor an individual athlete for $20, $200 you can sponsor a table. To do that, you can go to GoSoutheast.com/football banquet. GoSoutheast.com/football banquet. And Coach, as we bring you in one final time to wrap up the show, I know we've kind of hit all the big points. Murray State coming up. What's the big incentive? What's the big word that you're coming in bringing for this week?
Truth.
Truth, okay.
You know, my deal this week, we always do one thing. You know, everybody picks one thing they're going to really focus on this week, and mine's the truth. Like, the truth of the matter is, let's make sure we're in the moment of the special, precious moments that we're having. Like, let's enjoy each other. Let's enjoy these Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We're in a historic situation. Seniors, you got 2 games left guaranteed, and let's make sure we enjoy this thing. And then the truth of the matter is, we are good enough.
Yes.
It's just whether or not we're going to do the work through the week to make sure that we're the best team on Saturday also.
I appreciate that mindset because it's something that, especially for young people, it's embracing that mindset. Today exists. Enjoy today while it's here. I know we've got a lot of distractions, a lot of things focused up, but you can enjoy this moment and realize that it's something that goes by really quickly.
Absolutely. Appreciate you having me on.
I appreciate it, Coach, as always. Head Coach Tom Matsukowicz is our one final word wrapping up. Remember, Murray State is going to be the host for the Red Hawks this weekend, 11 o'clock kickoff. So wake up a little early if you're not going down. Kick it on 10:45, the pregame on SEMO ESPN 1220, SEMOESPN.com, and the SEMO ESPN radio app, along with Real Rock 99.3 and Real Rock 993.com. For Coach Matsukowicz, for Coach Smith, for DJ Freeman, thank you all for joining us on the show. I am Cody Sandusky. This has been the Southeast Coaches Show, live at Wings Etc. in Cape Girardeau. Until your regularly scheduled host, Eric Shawn, is back next week. Stay safe wherever you may be. Stay safe during the chaos of today, and we will catch up with you next time for more of the Southeast Coaches Show on SEMO ESPN.